Hey, those are the faces.
And here we go. It's us.
It's us.
It's
Hello.
me and us.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Indoors, the only podcast that everybody who hosts it forgot about yesterday, so we're filming a day late. We are Geek Garden. As always, I'm Kelly McCabe, and I'm joined today by the jarring Jack Tan,
Oh my god, hi.
the blood-curdling Brandon Horn,
no, take it
That
back.
was good.
Take it back.
and
Because it's Halloween.
and the spooky Sean Fabish.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Alrighty, we've got some stuff to do with video games and nerd culture and nerd media and everything going on today. But before we do that, I want to check in with my boys. Y'all are my friends. How are we doing? Jack, what's going on? How you being? How you going? What's happening?
What's going on? I could have been in the air today, but I'm not.
Yeah, what is it raining or what? What's going on with that?
Well, I didn't check the weather today, but it's supposed to say it's light rain and light drizzle, and low visibility with a low ceiling cloud. So basically, what that means is I can't.
Can't
You
see
guys
shit.
have to like call it pretty much early as possible, right? Because you knew you weren't gonna fly
Yeah, I
like
checked last night
right?
because so there are two different types of weather graphs that you need to chart. Well, actually, there's more, but the two ones I have to check are what we call the TAF, and there's a GFA. The TAF basically means it's like when airports release these like graphs. The TAF just says look up and then look like five miles around you, that sort of thing. And then they also predict sort of like down the road, like I don't know, a day or so later, and then they sort of tell you it's like this is what it should be. Obviously, it's not all the time. It's not going to be like that, but we go upon like that information, even if it's true or not. So we look at that. Then we also look at the GFA, which is like a whole area kind of graph, and then it tells us there's like sections in that graph where it tells us like this is what the ceiling is, the visibility, what types of like dangerous weather is going to be in that area, and sort of like that. And we look at that. So basically, we just look at all these graphs and tell us, does it confirm kind of what the other one is saying about the other? And then if it does, then obviously then that's going to be like the weather sort of thing.
That's fucked. We're not flying today.
That's fucked. It says that you ain't going up.
None of that shit.
So, yeah, basically that's what I have to do.
Jack, I'm really sorry that you're not able to fly a plane because that sounds way cooler than just chatting with us nerds, but we're happy to have you. So welcome to the ground, pilot.
Is it? Yeah, right. Is that, do you think it's like more of a problem for here because of the weather?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe here compared to, I don't know, probably like the prairies because they get, less rain and more like obstacles and stuff like that. But
I guess we get less like wind though, I'd assume. No, maybe not.
It kind of depends because there are still times where the weather is good, but there's still gusting winds.
Yeah.
So like now the winds are actually okay, but it's just the weather part that's not okay.
Fucking rain and clouds and shit.
I don't know anything. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I like the fact that you said you didn't know anything. So.
Yeah, that's the end of my thought. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I was just gonna say I don't know anything about like weather patterns, obviously, but I imagine that we're shielded from severe winds just because we're so mountainous. But the higher you get, the less that becomes a factor.
Yeah.
So,
yep,
that makes sense.
It can also get pretty gusty. Like you're flying out of what, Delta?
Yes.
Yeah, because it gets pretty gusty in the valley. Because like
plus,
once you get over the Fraser.
Yeah, plus I'm not actually like flying in Delta. I'm taking off from Delta and then going to either like Penticton or like sort of near Abbotsford area. So yeah.
It always like fucking blows my mind how like fast planes are. Like you're like, yeah, I just like, I fly to Penticton and back and then we come back and hang out. I'm like, that's like a fucking 4-hour drive. Like what the fuck? What do you mean you went to Penticton and back? You fucking liar. What are you, a fucking wizard? Magic man? Huh?
Basically. Jack, I just need to clarify this for myself because I just realized that every time I imagine you flying, I imagine you in like an open-topped plane with aviator goggles and like a little scarf with like a
totally. I am Snoopy, 100%.
Yeah, like Snoopy versus the Red Baron is like what I picture.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no.
I just pop into my convertible plane and take a jaunt.
You know how many of those are now? Yeah.
No.
Like what kind of plane do you fly?
It's what we call a Cessna 152. So the 152 just basically states that it's a smaller plane because we have either the 152 or the 172.
Oh, okay.
The 172 is a 3-seater.
Gotcha.
So as I've said before, if any of you wants to come up with me, you certainly can.
Jack, this is the plane Jack is flying.
You throwing it on the stream?
Yeah, throwing it on the screen.
So I'm playing a 152, which is a 2-seater. Currently, and my instructor. So on this 152, the PIC, the pilot in command, is on the right side because the button it's like the push to talk to tower button is on the right side.
Right.
And so that's why the PIC is on the right side, and then the co-pilot is on the left side. But sometimes it could be the other way around. It just depends on the plane. And it's the closed top, so there's no open top.
Damn it!
Yes, if the sun is too glaring, I will wear my aviators.
Hell yeah.
And then
Way to the danger zone.
Yeah. And
how's
so
the filming for Top Gun 2 going? I'm just kidding.
Fine. Tom Cruise is insane. I will say that.
How's the volleyball?
How's the what?
The volleyball. There's got to be a
Oh
volleyball
yeah.
scene.
Volleyball scene. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Lots of reshoots. You want to
Gotta-
get just the right shot.
Of the
Yeah.
butt, and you got to
Of the
practice
butt.
the bumps
Yeah.
And you're
and
like,
the sets.
and you're trying to get the sand spray so it like just comes out at just the right angle that it's like cinematic, but it doesn't cover you
Exactly.
when you
Just
dive.
for the spike. It's
Yeah, for that slow mo shot.
yeah, you know,
Slow-mo shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Haikuna level shit.
100%.
Hakuna? Haikuna?
What do you, I don't know what you're talking about.
What was it?
Volleyball anime.
Haikyuu.
Haikyuu.
It's like the
Haikyuu.
poem. It's like the poem, but with
It
And
rhymes.
Haikyuu.
What was it? I was gonna say. I think one time, I wanted to show you guys how to actually do it. Because I could probably stream it from my phone, like prep wise, not obviously in the plane, but
No, just play Floor out while you're flying, while you're over Penticton. It's fine.
I mean I can do that too. But you guys don't hear shit because you won't hear anything. But the plane being exactly.
Yeah.
Plane go burr.
Exactly. But yeah, I can show you guys how like the prep we do not only before like the weather wise, but also how to prep the actual plane itself. Because that is also a process. Because I have to be there an hour before to check on it.
Yeah.
What
So-
one last question before we move on. So obviously the goal of this is to like do commercial flying, right? So
Yeah.
it'd be flying planes for airports, for airlines, whatever, right? Do you because I know you keep getting your flight shut down because of the weather. I'm assuming you have to log a certain amount of hours, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because it'd be really funny. They're like, yeah, the program's a year, and you just fly as many times as you're able to, and then at the end, you graduate, and then congratulations, you can go fly a plane. And like the whole year, the weather's been super shitty in Vancouver, and they're like, yeah, I flew
He's like,
twice.
he's never been in a plane. Just like, yeah, here you go. Have at it, kid. Go nuts.
Why they have co-pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
Yeah,
actually,
Co-pilot's
the
also
thing
never
is-
been in a plane.
Yeah.
The thing is, the pilot in command
That's
and
the
the
perfect
co-pilot
storm.
are like the same. They're same like what do I put? It's like the same job, except
Right.
the pilot in command is just the one talking to tower, like the one like in the plane that's controlling the plane. But they
He's the
actually have the same
responsible
job.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're both on the same level. I mean, not obviously, maybe sometimes not the same level, but like they're on the same like. It's not like one has more flight hours than the other, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like the
And
one
it's
the
just-
one who's like the main pilot this
One-
time might be a co-pilot on
captain.
his next flight or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Right,
just
yeah,
one is
yeah,
the captain
yeah.
now, and one's the co-pilot.
Yeah. I think
Don't
the
do it,
worst
Sean.
reaction you
Don't
want
do it,
is,
Sean.
is
I knew
I
it.
am the captain now.
I fucking knew it. I knew
I
it.
think the worst reaction you want is when a pilot walks into a plane and goes, "Wow." I don't think that's what you want.
I think this is also not what you want.
Jack, I had one other question. I know Brandon said last question, but
What's
I
a
got
plane?
when you're, and this might be less so when you're in the smaller planes versus like if you're commercial flying, I don't know. But once it's like decided like this is the PIC and this is the co-pilot, is it kind of like for that flight, is it kind of got like military rules, like what the pilot says goes, like what the pilot in command says goes, and like the co-pilot, even if they're on like the same level in terms of flight hours, is it like he's like in
Yeah, yeah.
charge if there's
He
something
is-
happens, like what he says goes? Is that the rule?
Yeah, he's the PIC, so he has the responsibility of the PIC.
Cool.
So if he says we have to do an emergency landing, but the co-pilot doesn't think it's necessary.
Well, the co-pilot, if the co-pilot like disagrees with the decision, the PIC has to have like, again, it's all about like a synergy between like the person and the person in charge. So like if they're both on the same wavelength at the same time, then both people will know like, okay, I know what his deal is, he knows what my deal is, like we can like kind of like work together, that sort of thing. But like if the PIC goes in and just demands everything and commands about everything, then the co-pilot will know how to deal with that sort of person.
with a shitty captain.
Yeah, exactly. And then the co-pilot has the right to kind of like disagree with a decision that probably, you know, endangers like some people or whatever, that sort of thing. If it does, that decision does endanger people. So like he does have the right to kind of like disagree with the co-pilot, and then sort of I don't know about like politics wise on a plane. I don't know too much
Yeah.
about that, but like the PSA the co-pilot does have right?
I
So,
guess the idea is that there's enough like procedures in place that there should just be like a logical conclusion to most things, as opposed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
being
exactly,
like, I
yeah.
think we should do this, and I think we should do this, and
Yeah. It's not like a disagreement. It's more like a kind of like, I wouldn't say argument, but like a strategy meeting of like what to do. sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
they're
Okay.
the PIC is not just going to be like Chicago. I don't land in that
Yeah,
city.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
We're going straight to Jersey.
straight to Jersey.
I don't even know if Jersey has an airport. That's how little I know about that area.
I would assume they do, but I
I
have
think
no
so.
I know JFK is in New York,
idea.
right?
New York. Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thank God I got that one right. I was about to look very foolish. I was like, I know JFK doesn't know it all. It's in New York.
I think they have at least two, because there's also LaGuardia that I know about.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of airports in New
Yeah.
York
Yeah.
because New York's a big ass place.
La-ti-da-ti-da.
Mhm.
Word. Sean, how are
What?
things going for you, man?
Why do you
What's
want to
up?
know? Yeah, things are good.
Step
I
up,
didn't even
bro.
I didn't even have time to like come up with something there. I just got so caught off guard.
What? It's what happens when people come at you. No, yeah, things are good. Things are fine. I carved a pumpkin this weekend, which is the
Nice.
first time since I think we all lived together. Like even when Jack was there.
Yeah,
It's
we
the last
carved
time I
pumpkins the
really-
first year we were there, I think.
Yeah, I
This
think
is
that
the
was
first year that I can remember that I haven't carved a pumpkin.
Damn.
Oh, so shamed.
So shame.
So shamed.
Right. It's the worst.
I know. I got what? The worst smiling pumpkin in the world. Like it's lopsided and he's got like a caved in head. If I had been smarter, I would have seen that the fact that the guy had the caved in head and I would have given like a goofy smile. Like that was like lopsided for the side that was
Oh,
lopsided.
that would have been fun, yeah.
But I just didn't do that because I don't know. I didn't
Did you-
think of it.
Okay.
Did you guys see Naomi's sister's pumpkin on the Discord?
Is that the spiders?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
It was just like
It's awesome.
She
It's so good.
She had broken a hole into it, and then because she broke the hole, she's like, "Oh, screw! I'm just gonna make it look like it's rotting, and there's spiders coming out of it." And literally, my first reaction was to fucking delete that thing as soon as I saw it. But no, it's really good. But
It's
yeah,
very
it creeped me
good.
out.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, not too much going on in the life. Been grinding Destiny. I'm tired of grinding Destiny.
Then
Well,
why
it's-
are you still doing it?
It's
Why
you
you
know
still-
why? Because it's a live service game. That's
Sean's
why.
a bot.
Because it's a job. It's not a game anymore.
Yeah, man.
You got to get on, clock your
Well,
hours,
as
do
more like-
dailies.
It's more
Kelly-
like Sean's interning at the moment.
It feels that way. It does feel that way because the new content's coming out. So they're getting rid of all the old content.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you gotta like play the old content.
This is very topical to a new video we might have coming out very soon. Kelly?
What are you talking
So
about?
check out for that.
I mean, to be fair, I'm focused more on loot than live service, but yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's around the same place.
It's still relevant. It's still relevant.
Very relevant.
That's something like that's a whole other topic in and of itself that maybe we could get into at some point. But the idea of like, I get really weirded out just on like sort of the monetary nature of and like the consumer nature of a live service game that you have to pay for, but then like content is like not available.
Mhm.
Right? Like I know Destiny has gone free to play, so that's fine. But the concept of games where you pay, like whether it's a
full
subscription
price.
fee or you
Yeah.
pay full price, and it's like a premium product, and then like
Oh, there's
at
more.
some point you're like, oh, I can't do that. They took it out of the game.
But to think that like Destiny actually released as an $80 game and that's content technically people did pay for,
Mhm.
and now they have to buy the update because all the content they paid for like 4 years ago now is now gone.
Yeah, see, that's kind of messed up.
You know, like now they are releasing Forsaken, which they did retail at $80 now for free. So they've replaced if you've only paid for the one thing, you've just replaced that content with new content. But is that the contractual agreement?
I think
Yeah.
it's definitely a topic for another video, but I think a part of it is like it's like an investment, right? It's like if you pay the $80 for the first release, then they had the funding able to make, then say they already had the first DLC plan, but maybe the second or the third one. And maybe they then go free to play and everyone else gets it for free, but they get it for free because you paid the 80, which,
True.
say what you will
Yeah.
about how you feel about that, but
I think the problem with that is like from the developer side is like, but the game's now 98 gigs or something. Like it's a huge fucking game. It was never
that's
intended to
nothing.
be that large.
Battlefront 2 was like
Battlefront
fucking
2 was
like
like 100 something, right?
160 fucking gigs. It was fucking
Yeah, it was
stupid.
But I totally get that, but I think a live service game that was not supposed to really be that large and now is running worse on people's computers that originally could play it with the gaming setups, and now they have to upgrade just to keep playing the game. So there's this like kind of agreement with the community that we're just gonna like, they're gonna restructure all the files, and in doing that take a lot of content out so the game is more manageable.
I understand
Yeah.
like technical reasons why you would have to do it. I
Yeah.
just think that the whole situation can get kind of shady.
absolutely.
Those people should be
Absolutely.
console gamers. That's
If
my answer to
nothing
that.
else, if there's
It
any
is a
content that
console
you
game.
pay for, I think like the first thing I think of is like if there's any content that you pay for, like the first release of a game, that content will never go away, but other stuff that they add later gets cycled out. Like that's like the first solution that comes to mind. So theoretically, like if you paid for Destiny and you bought Destiny and you liked what was on offer out the gate, you can keep playing that, or you have access to that.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing. I think we
That's
can talk
another
about that
story. Yeah,
for another time. It just popped into my head because you've been playing a lot of Destiny, and I think about it a lot because, like, I think about like the For Honor events, and I think about Avengers, which is like this new live service game and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
any when,
That's
Wait,
what
wait,
I've been
who?
doing. Doing a lot of raids.
yeah.
A lot of raids.
Hey, dude, we got to get you back on Ghost, by the way, so you can get ready for the Ghost raid that's coming out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
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 Sean?
What do I? Is there like a level cap I have to be at?
Yes,
or-
you
Get up
Yeah.
to
You
the
get
level.
105, dude.
Yeah,
Get on
Okay.
there, bro.
let's go.
Come
Let's
on,
go.
bro.
Five.
Let's
Stop
go.
grinding one game, grind another game.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Grind the games
friends.
we care about.
Better friends.
Yeah, Sean.
Benny and Ryan are not your friends. They've been lying to you this whole time.
Holy shit.
We're your only real friends.
They're
I
imposters.
owe them my firstborn though.
Well,
okay.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's not a thing that friends do, man.
We
That
asked for your
sounds messed
second and
up.
third born.
Yeah.
You guys all owe
You
me
can keep the
your
first one.
firstborns.
The first is usually a bad egg, anyways.
Wait.
That's
Wait.
rude. Yeah.
Wait, Sean, did you just say that's rude and you're not the first egg in your family?
Did you forget that you have an older sister?
No, I would never forget I have an older sister.
We
I was
we
just
are
trying to
you're the
work my
only
way into a
non-first
joke
egg.
about- Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're just a little brat.
Yeah, the firstborns are the worst.
Oh my god.
There you go. There you go. Brandon, what have you been up to, man? What's going on?
Me?
Wow, aside from streaming like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, he just
so
yells at everybody.
Ah! Yeah, my week has been good for the most part. I think I'm still dealing with the stress stuff I was kind of talking about last week. And I think the problem that I'm having now is I'm not giving myself enough downtime. And I think I keep thinking that streaming is downtime for me, but then I like find myself either in the middle of it or at the end of it, and I'm like really fucking like stressed and overwhelmed. And I'm just like, my heart rate's up, and I'm just like, why? Fuck, I gotta fucking relax. And there are times where the stream is relaxing. It's not always work, but 9 times out of 10, it's at least a little bit of work, and that just doesn't let me relax at all. So I've been trying to remind myself to like, hey, Brandon, why don't you fucking like have a glass of water, sit down, and just fucking like listen to some music or fucking like watch a movie or like some shit, right? But yeah, and I think, and to be honest, I think the stream wouldn't be so bad if my work wasn't so crazy right now, and our house is like in pieces. I mentioned we were doing renos last week, and like right now our bed is just in the middle of our bedroom, and the walls are like stripped of wallpaper, and there's like wallpaper scraps everywhere, like around the room, and like all of our shit, like my clothing hanger thing is over here, like everything's just been moved around again, even though we were all settled. So that's where I've been this week, but I feel better now that I'm in the podcast. It feels
good.
great. Feels great to be here.
Welcome to
but yeah.
Chod Past.
Well, I just want to say that as much as I think I can speak for the rest of the garden here, that as much as we appreciate you really driving the stream, we don't want you to hurt yourself to do it. So if you need to like step back for a day, like don't feel the pressure from us. I know you have the pressure for yourself, but don't feel the pressure from us.
Definitely. No, yeah.
And I think our community would agree with that. Like they have a lot of fun with you, but they want you to be safe and healthy. So that's priority.
100%. 100%. And I know that, and I appreciate it. And yeah, it definitely, the pressure is definitely not from you guys. Honestly, if anything, the pressure is from how fucking cool our community is. How dare they be so fucking cool that I want to hang out with them all the time.
How dare they be so cool?
Bunch of nerds.
Bunch of fucking nerds. Lauren's telling me to hydrate right now, and I fucking have an empty fucking water bottle because I'm a fucking bot.
That's a water jar.
Water jar, whatever. a thing that contains. This is a container that holds water sometimes. Not now, but sometimes it does. Yeah, that's been my week, and then yeah, this was a lot of cool stuff, and I think we have a really cool reveal to show after we check out Kelly. How have you been?
Yeah, Kelly, show me how you've been.
Holy God!
I've been good, man. I've been doing a lot of stuff. As you guys know, I tend to have a lot of different irons in the fire.
What?
At any given time. It's
Kelly,
kind
many
of
things?
it's kind of weirdly nice. This, the surgery coming into COVID has been like this weird reset where I couldn't do anything for a while, and now I can do some stuff, but I can't do the stuff that was like my normal responsibilities, like going to auditions or going to my day job. So like I'm not really doing any of that stuff, which means I've been focusing more on some of my other things that I enjoy. I moved around a bunch of stuff recently for like my art stuff, and I'm trying to get a little bit more serious about opening up for commissions. Obviously it's hard to get started with that, but
yeah, we were sharing your art like crazy yesterday.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It was awesome. Why did it come up? There was a reason it came up, but I'm totally blanking out what the hell it was.
We were in the show and tell Discord, and people started sharing D&D stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, because we were on Instagrams, and I was like, oh, by the way,
that's right.
You see Kelly's latest commission piece? Because it's fucking rad as hell. It reminds me of Gray. Oh wait, he has a picture of Gray and the rest of the squad, and then we start talking about Purple Chains.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
etc.
I was looking for reference photos for a certain something, and showing it off to people, and then Sean brought up your most recent post. It was fucking great.
And then Brandon looked at it. He was like, "I can't find Graphite Swordsman." And I was like, "Oh well, it's K McCabe art or Kelly
Comic
McCabe
art.
Kelly
comic art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to like streamline everything. Make it a little bit simpler.
Tell me about it.
I had this weird idea because I get like these weird notions that I didn't want, like not like I'm even remotely close to being like a well-known actor or anything, but like I was sort of future-proofing myself. I didn't want the idea of like somebody commissioning an art piece for me because they like saw me in a TV show. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want that kind of thing. And then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, man, like people are gonna find out pretty quick anyway if I'm doing public art commissions and also am a public figure, and then I'm also doing the stream and I have the whole Geek Garden thing going on. So like why, like I don't know why I was trying to like divide things up and keep them all separate in this weird way. So
right,
I still have a separate Instagram just so it's like that's just art, but I'm not trying to like do this weird like pen name artist, you don't know who I am bullshit anymore.
Man behind the mask.
Man.
So
I know who I am.
So I've like done that, and that commission piece I did was really cool because I'm just trying to find like people on Reddit right now who are looking for character art to be done.
Yeah.
It's a good place to
So that's
go
what that
for
was.
sure.
Skulking around Reddit.
Yeah, so I've got like a
vulnerables.
separate Reddit account that's like just for that purpose, and I share art to art subreddits under that name that's like the same name as my Instagram, so it's all like very together. It's a separate email, it's a whole It's a whole thing.
Lauren just brought up your link on the chat so people can see it. It's there. So hopefully we'll get some new followers.
Thanks.
Yeah, right
That was
now in
from-
Discord, if you do exclamation Kelly Art, your Instagram comes up.
That's really cool. I did that for Inktober last year. I'm not doing Inktober this year because I'm trying to focus more right now on the video stuff. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've got, for anybody who's interested, I did record the voice line for the next Spider-Man retrospective the other day.
Amazing.
So I need to edit that and then
Hell
actually
yeah.
make the video and stuff. But so I'm working on stuff here and there. I'm bouncing between projects because that's what I do. It takes me a long time to finish any one project because I'm usually working on at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Plus just trying to hang out and whatever.
I'm usually working on like 300.
Yeah.
Andrew just said, "Can the real Kelly stand up?" And then Lauren said, "Kelly, the poses you draw are really cool and dynamic. Keep it up."
Oh, thanks. That was where I started, was trying to draw cool poses because I basically taught myself to draw because of Spider-Man. So.
Spider Boy.
Can
Spider-Boy.
confirm.
And then
I wasn't there, but I can confirm.
And then last
I believe
night, Sam and I watched The Cabin in the Woods, which
Oh,
I
really?
had never actually seen. Yeah.
You know,
That's the one
Jodel's
with-
in that movie. She plays the one-armed zombie girl.
Oh, really? She plays
Yeah.
Patience? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
all. That's one with Chris Hemsworth, right?
Yeah.
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 I knew about it for a long time. I think it was actually in the theater that I worked at, like when I still worked at the movie theater.
Yeah.
But it's funny because there's sort of like a twist, if you want to call it that, in that it's about these people who are like monitoring these kids and kind of forcing them to go through the horror movie tropes. And I try to really avoid spoilers, but I had that like spoiled for me. But I thought that was like a plot twist that came up like halfway through the movie. But literally the first shot is like showing those guys in the office talking about it. So I started
Yeah.
watching the movie and I was like, yeah, I've already had the twist spoiled, but whatever. And then the movie started. I was like, oh shit,
Oh, that ain't the twist.
That's
it's not a twist. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
like, yeah, that's new. I could have told
That's
you
the
that.
movie.
I'm like,
That's always relieving. That's always a
right
relieving
away.
thing.
Yeah. Well, it's because I try to avoid spoilers so much, right? That like, if I'm like interested in a movie, unless it's a comic book movie, because I'm like I know I'm gonna see it. I can probably guess the plot halfway through because of how much comic book nerd shit I know.
Because we're fucking nerds. Yep.
But other than that, like any other film, if I think I'm gonna see it, I just try to avoid trailers and spoilers and stuff. So when I just hear people say things and I kind of take them out of context, so I thought it was a spoiler. And then we were watching it and I was like, oh no, cool. And then I could just kind of strap in and enjoy the rest of the movie. And it's awesome. It's really good. It's a really fun movie.
Sweet. That's fun. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I got something to show you guys.
Do you now?
I do.
Do it.
So, I think the kind of aesthetic goal we've had here at Geek Garden is kind of like Saturday morning cartoons, right? It's kind of like this like
What?
fun place you can come and hang out, and it's just all the things you loved now, well, as a kid, but now as an adult. So we have gone ahead and cartoonified ourselves, and I hope to implement these further into our media and our marketing and all that kind of stuff. You guys, I think, have seen both mine and Sean's.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Okay, so if you guys want to head over to the Twitch, I'm gonna just change our screen here real quick. Over to, I think the chat can still hear me. I'm gonna mute that Geek Garden theme. Okay, there we go. Okay, so first up, we're gonna reveal me. So these are some cartoon heads designed. Oh, I like to also point out these are designed by our very own Lauren. So Lauren, please stand up in the chat. Thank you very, very much. These are all fantastic. Okay, so first off, I'll show off me. So here we go. This is me.
Lauren says that she is standing. So there
She
you
is
go.
standing. Okay, good. That's good.
It's also
Okay.
worth noting that like the stream is a little bit behind us.
That is
so
true.
The three of us, other than Brandon, are using the Twitch to react to this. So we're gonna be a little bit off sync
Yeah.
with Brandon here for a minute.
So there is me. With my little. Do you guys see it now?
Not yet.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
I see it.
Oh, I don't see it. I'm a little bit behind here.
Wait, what the hell?
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Wait, why
I
are
thought
you-
it was gonna be the whole screen, and I had something covering the top of the
Oh.
top of it.
That's
All right,
funny.
there we go. Yeah. got
Actually,
it.
you know what? That's a good point. I should probably make these bigger. Hold up. Let's just do this. Let's just do.
Also,
oh,
Brandon,
actually, no, I have a good
it
idea.
upsets me as someone who's known you for a very long time. It upsets me that there's this entire community of people who just like intrinsically think of you as having facial hair.
I know.
I know, it's really funny. Okay, to give context on that, I have a really tough time growing facial hair. This is it, everybody. And
know.
my entire life I've never had any facial hair, and so it's only recently that I've decided to grow this out, and I think it's really funny. We were looking at my Instagram last night, and people were looking at all the photos of me baby faced, and yeah, it's just very funny. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do something else here real quick. I just have an idea real quick. I'm just gonna edit this real quick. Come on. Oh no, you don't wanna do that. No. Okay. No. Oh. All right.
Oh,
That's
you
fine.
moved something.
Yeah. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna make a bigger, greener space for everybody. You know. Okay, there we go. Okay.
He does. He's a Machiavellian villain. He's like,
Okay, so there is me, and then we will show.
Hey, there you are. Look at that.
We will show Sean next because we've seen Sean's. So
Seen the
here, there. Here, I just revealed Sean's. I'm a big fan of Sean's.
The Sean
I
one
really
is
like
really
Sean's.
good. It's really, really good.
Fucking
All right,
thanks,
now
man.
you guys have not seen yours, so I'm gonna reveal Kelly's here in a hot second. Let me just
Oh
readjust
my
that.
god, I'm so excited and so
Okay, here we
nervous.
go. Here we go.
Yes,
Is that great?
that's so good.
I love it.
Hilarious.
I love it so much.
Being
Okay,
a
and
big
then
goofy derp.
yeah, I love all these so much. Okay,
That's
and
I
then-
love-
awesome.
the reference photo is so good.
Yeah, it's me with the strongholds and followers, right?
Yes,
yeah, with
yes,
the big
right,
in
yeah.
your face. Yeah, and then here is
Yes, that's awesome, dude.
Here is Jack. I really like Jack's too, actually.
Dude, so good. So good. The slightly off center smirk is perfect.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, she was like, hey, how are you guys like smiling and stuff? Like, what should I do for Jack? And I was like, put the most shit-eating looking fucking grin on Jack's face. Just do it.
Mhm.
Just
That's
do it.
That's fair.
So these are our cartoonified us, and I'm so
Lord, these are
happy.
So dope. These are
It's
so dope.
it's
They're
so
so
good.
fun.
So I'm excited to. I'm hoping that these things will be like on a lot of our art and stuff now. I'm gonna try and embed them somewhere in our backgrounds and things like that. And Alessandro, thank you for gifting a sub, buddy. Damn, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, man.
That's God, Alessandro, you're just the bomb, man. Let's just thank you real quick. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, so those are them, and I'm excited. I was telling Lauren I really want to get it so that like at one point I want to take like a longer like white picket fence and then have all of us like popping up behind the fence with our
Nice.
like hands
Nice,
on the
nice,
ledge. I think
nice.
that would look really, really cool. But all right, let's go back to our faces. There we go. We're back.
Hey.
Thank you again, Lauren. Lauren, those are fantastic. Yeah, that's all. That's it.
Brandon, you should
yes.
you should figure out in the future like what order we're all gonna be in on your screen on the Zoom call, and then like line up all the cartoon faces in a transition so that it like fades from the cartoon faces into our faces when we start the stream.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be really easy if I know, like if you were in the meeting before we start. Like, that's
Yeah,
super
exactly.
easy enough. So, oh yeah, that's so cool. Okay, yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be
I could
sick.
definitely do that.
That'd
I
be
could
so
definitely
sick.
do that. Cool. Okay, I think that's it for that.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that preamble out of the
yeah.
way. Here's the fun stuff, guys. I'm kidding. Everything else has been great so far. But a recent Twitter thread debate was started, and I'm not interested in pointing people out because I don't like see the purpose in like attacking people personally. But I think that the topic that was raised is very interesting, and so I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. Basically, the question was raised: should streamers have to pay publishers and developers for the rights to stream video games?
It's oh man, it's so weird. Like, so I think I don't know where exactly you saw this come up, Kelly, but I know that one of the big things that has been coming up a lot, and I might be seeing it more because I work in music, but I know that it's been coming up a lot because I think Facebook just came up with a thing where like streamers are now allowed to kind of like use copyrighted music on Facebook when they stream, and I don't know what the legality is. I think it's because like it's not the focus of the stream, or like I haven't looked into it enough, but I just know that's a thing that Facebook has just recently done. They've come up with a system where you can play your favorite music while streaming whatever it is on Facebook, but Twitch hasn't come up with something like that yet. And so I've seen a lot of people like commenting at Amazon and at Twitch and being like, hey, like Facebook figured it out, like you're Amazon, why haven't you figured it out yet, like what's going on or whatever, right? And then so in response, a lot of people have been like, that video game publishers can essentially just at any point just like snap their fingers and tell us that like we're not allowed to stream their content. Like at the moment, like it's a weird thing because like it doesn't make sense for them to, because it benefits them, because it's just advertising. Right. Yeah. We're just playing, because I would argue that out of all the streamers, people that play streams and all that and stream games, most of them are not making a lot of money off it. Right. Like I'd argue that we whatever stream more than probably half, like the normal, than like half of most streamers, and we're not making anything. Right. So the fact that it's absolutely free is I think too much of a benefit. But I think as far as like, again, I'm not a lawyer. I know nothing about these laws. As far as I'm concerned, video game publishers could turn around at any point and just go, as far as things currently stand, could turn around and be like, no, I don't want you playing our game. Because I think Nintendo did something similar to that.
Nintendo at the big, I think it was like no, it was even earlier than the Switch came out. Anyway, Nintendo had a plan that was called like the Nintendo Creators Club or something. And basically the idea was like YouTubers and stuff would have to make have like a partnership, like an agreement with Nintendo that would be like a profit sharing thing where Nintendo would get a portion of the money that they made off of their YouTube videos and streams. I think even at this point, Nintendo's mostly abandoned that. I haven't really heard that come up.
Well, if I remember correctly,
it didn't work, but
I think the problem was that you weren't allowed to monetize your videos if they were Nintendo game content on YouTube. I think people were doing playthroughs of Super Mario Maker or like whatever, and they were getting demonetized because it had Nintendo content in it. And I don't know if that's still a thing. I think it is. But so I know a lot of people were like avoiding doing Nintendo content because it didn't make sense for them, or they were just not relying on the monetization money from YouTube. They were just getting sponsorship instead and then doing a video on it.
Right, because that's a good point, right? With all of the games that are out there and all the content that you could be using to make your own content, if someone's going to charge you or try to demonetize your videos, like you're not going to fight that. You're just going to go, all right, if I can't stream Mario, I'll go stream Crash Bandicoot, right? Yeah. Like you'll just do something else.
Yeah.
This all came up, just to give a little bit more context before we dive farther in. This all also came up because in regards to that music thing, Twitch actually issued a bunch of DMCA takedown notices to like a whole bunch of streamers, and they basically said our algorithm has found copyrighted music, and we're going to be deleting your video in like 6 days or in a certain amount of time. And they didn't really give people enough heads up or let them know what was going on or try to let them like fight it. They just said they're deleting the videos
or fix it or whatever.
And it's caused also a bunch of confusion because it's kind of tangentially related, but you might have a video game and they paid for the rights to a song, but that to like be in the video game. But then if you stream that video game, the song plays and you don't have the rights to stream the song, even though it's in the game. So like the algorithm will flag your video for having that song in it, even though you're not playing the song, you're just playing the game. And so that kind of led to this. And then because of this, somebody came out and said like, all of these streamers who are complaining about getting their stuff taken down from these songs when they should be worried about the fact that at any point publishers can just pull them and like they're not.
I think that's the tweet I saw.
Yeah,
I think I saw that exact tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of what started the conversation. And actually, I want to get Sean and Jack. I want to get your takes before I throw my hat in the ring here. Jack, what do you think about this?
Honestly, I think that. Yeah, I see where they're coming from if they want streamers to like kind of buy into playing their game, but at the same time, they're getting free like advertising basically just from having streamers just play their game. So I don't really see the need to like, hey, if you want to play it, you got to pay us. But at the same time, like we're also playing your game so that people can watch us play your game, and they're like, hey, this game's cool, I'll go buy it. So at the same time, it's like, why you don't really need to. Like, sure, I understand, like, obviously, like, they're playing your game, and then, like, they're making money, some money off of them playing your game, but it's just free advertising for you.
Mhm.
It's free advertising for you. So like, there's I don't think there's absolutely a need to do that at all.
What about you,
That's
Sean?
me.
Well, like I understand that the way that Twitch is now with publishers is mutually beneficial, because a lot of games, like let's take Among Us for instance,
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
never have gotten as popular as they are without sort of the streaming support that
Mhm.
Twitch provides.
Yeah.
And if you then, let's say, had Among Us, and then for whatever reason Twitch needed you to pay a rights so that they could then give that game developer this sort of license to stream it or have it be streamed, you'd get to a lot of positions where a lot of these indie developers would not have the money necessary to really fund these projects, so that players could essentially stream it for free or whatever. I don't know what the legality of it would be. So it actually benefits, I think, the smaller like developers more than it harms the bigger ones that
Yeah.
are going to have like copyrighted music in their game. You know what I mean? But like for instance, that the like copyrighted song within the game, like I get it. Like I get why it gets flagged and why technically you shouldn't, but it is part of the product which you can stream. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole other kind of issue. It just kind
Exactly,
of sparked
right.
sparked the
Yeah.
debate about whether or
Like-
not public or streamers should pay for the rights for games in general, regardless
Yeah.
of the music. That was just
And
kind of the spark.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in terms of like the free advertisement for even these AAA games, like there's a lot of games that like you just wouldn't play, and you watch, a streamer play it because it's a natural progression of that game's gameplay, right? They just do the loop
Yeah.
over and over. They're not like curating content for a video, they're just streaming it.
Mhm.
So like it allows you as like a passive observer to be like, would I buy this game?
Yeah.
Like watching it being played, does this look fun?
Yeah.
So,
I think that's a
you know.
weird spot where obviously the developer or the publisher's goal is to just like make the game appealing to the masses, because like I'd argue like Twitch streamers are not going to be where they're focusing their game content for, right? But is it then on the publisher's side or the developer's side that they're then hindering their own marketing by putting that kind of music in their game? Right, like as soon as they do that, they go, "Oh, well, now we know that Twitch streamers can't then play it." Like, I doubt that's something they've thought about, because that is a very specific thing. But like, is that a way to look at it? Like, should it be their problem? Right, like it's weird, right? Like, yeah, sure, like now it sucks. Like now I can't make content on that game, and everyone's thinking about it, but also nobody can, I guess. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's in that specific case, there are workarounds, right? Like the first thing that came to my mind, obviously, is Alive by the Warbly Jets that plays at the beginning of Spider-Man PS4.
Right. Yeah.
You could just like mute that part of the game,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the game is just all like original score.
That's the thing. It's like I think that's another problem, is that it's just automated, right? Like if it was an actual human listening, they go, "Oh, this is in the game. This is in the game. That's fine. Don't worry about it," right? But because it's automated and technically you're playing the song on your stream, it just goes, "Nope, flag. Sorry, we're getting you out of here." And you're like, "Well, that's not my fault."
Yeah.
Mom, it's not my fault.
Mom.
I think that it's interesting. Obviously, like none of us are lawyers or legal experts, so this is coming from more of a common sense gut feeling argument than it is
Consumer. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think one of the things, the person who put forth this argument, they were basically saying like people are worried about the music getting their streams taken down, but they should be worried about the fact that they didn't pay for the rights for the video games either.
Mhm.
And so they don't really have a right to stream those without paying. But I think one of the things that comes up, and this is regards to like fair use, is that most streamers, not all, but I think most that are streaming video games, it is transformative in nature, right? Like they're doing it. people come to them for their commentary and their
Yeah.
personality, and the gameplay is like the thing. It's like commentary and critique as well as just playing the game. There
Mhm.
are just like no commentary playthroughs. That is a thing, but there is a large portion of streaming that falls under fair use, I think, in terms of, or could be argued to fall under fair use, with regards to like if somebody's watching Ninja stream, they're not watching it because of the game. They're watching it because of Ninja, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how they, operate said game.
How
yeah,
they
like how
play,
Ninja
yeah.
plays the game, but like it's not. And I don't think that.
I need to
It's not
review
like-
Fortnite. I'm gonna watch Ninja.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just. It's not just like, it's not accidental.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I want to watch the game and Ninja happens to be the one. Like you're subbed to Ninja because you want to watch Ninja, as
Yeah.
an example.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I think a big thing that argument forgets is that video games are interactive, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
There are some games that are very like smaller games that are very, very narrative, story driven, story focused games that I suppose you could argue might lose sales if somebody can just watch it be played.
Mhm.
I suspect most people that are interested in playing that game would then play it. They wouldn't just watch it because they want to play it. But
Yeah.
there might be some sales lost, some sales gained from like the free marketing, like Jack was talking about. Hard to say. But the vast majority of games, like the real fun is in the playing of it, is in the doing it, right? And I think
Yeah.
that somebody who wasn't going to buy a game because they could watch somebody else play it wasn't going to buy that game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And now they're at least invested and they might look at a sequel or something.
Yeah, I think something that I discovered really recently since I've started streaming and I've been talking to like friends and family and just like people I walk into is that there's a lot of people who are, I would argue, just like a bit older than us, like their parents, or they're just like they're really focused career people or whatever, and it's either watch the Twitch gameplay or don't engage with video games at all. Like, it's not really an option, right? Like, they watch Twitch because they do not have the money or the time to invest in buying a PlayStation and playing the game, and they know that. So they just watch videos of it. And I think that's so interesting because I think that's an area I didn't know about until recently. But yeah, I think that makes a good point, Kelly.
Yeah, because if you're really interested in a game, but you can't play it, Twitch offers this really great way to stay like in, because it's also a community, right? Like video gaming is a community. It's a zeitgeist. There are things that are coming up that are being popular. And if you're like, I don't have the time to play Ghost of Tsushima, for example, when it came out because you had too much going on, you can watch other people play it and be like, oh, like I understand what this is about and I get it. You're still not getting the same experience as if you played it. That's why it's a video game and not a movie.
Yeah.
But I think, somebody streaming a movie, everybody who watches that movie is having the same experience. Like they might not be personally having the same experience, like emotionally the same reaction to it, but the product is identical for everybody who gets it.
Yeah.
But if two people play a video game, even if it's not a choice-based narrative game, it's just like an action game, that is still different just because of how those two people play the game and their interactions with that game.
It's video games are closer related to books, I've often seen said, because it's a mechanical thing. If you put a book down, it stops reading. You know what I mean? Like you put something into the book that the book also has, because you use your experiences to fill in the gaps where words can't do justice, right?
Yeah.
But and that's the same, and that's the same with video games. Is you actually do the thing, like you decide to go to this quest versus this quest. You jump here versus there, and the decision making is what you put into the game.
Yeah, which makes it
Transformative.
fundamentally different. Yeah, it's transformative.
Exactly.
It's a different experience for everybody who plays it. Like I think the fact that people are always very quick to compare different kinds of media and be like, oh well, you can't stream movies or songs, so you can't stream video game or whatever. But I think the interactivity of video games makes it like a much different conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah,
like if we're
I
being
agree.
honest, just like the time investment too, you might be like so down to play The Witcher 3, but you're like, I don't have a couple hundred hours to play it, but I'm curious about that story, right? And so you watch somebody who does just like a story only playthrough or something, and you go, man, that's really cool. And then you can talk about it and you're invested in it. And then it feeds into other things. Maybe then you pick up the books and you weren't going to. And so like there's all these other aspects that come into it.
Video games by far have the largest variety of like how much time it takes to engage with it, right? Like movies can be anywhere between like 40 minutes to 4 hours. Books roughly usually take you, depending on how fast you read, roughly take you the same amount of time. You don't read slower or faster on any given book. Usually you read that book, right? Music can last anywhere from like a minute to an hour, right? But video games can take anywhere from being like a couple hours to like hundreds of hours. The contrast is insane how many different video games there are. So yeah, you're not gonna have time or the care to buy every. And also, video games are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like they're literally more expensive than all of those, right?
Yeah.
Music is practically fucking free now. Movies also like you just pay like all these different things you just pay subscriptions for and you have access to them for fucking ever. Video games, Canadian, you're talking $80-$90 every time a new game comes out, which is it's just a lot. I don't think it's a lot. Like I'm okay with paying that amount, but I'm just saying that like not everyone has that time and money to invest in that, and like what a better way than to just like watch someone play it and then engage in other ways, engage with the community, buy merch, buy the books, buy go see the movie, yada yada yada, right?
Mm-hmm. Plus, I get really scared of the idea of people having to pay to stream, because that also implies that a publisher or developer could like revoke your license or not let you stream their game.
Yeah.
Which starts to like be about like censoring criticism as well.
Yeah.
Right. And stopping people from having certain takes on certain things. And that's never a good idea.
No.
That is never a good idea.
Especially on art too, because you can make art that's fundamentally manipulative.
Yeah.
And rude, and like
rude,
quite terrible. It just rude in the sense that it's like, it's a bludgeon, for an idea. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm struggling to find an example that's appropriate for what I'm thinking about. There's this anime. I didn't hear about it till recently, but it personifies all the World War II countries, but the lead characters are the axis of evil country. It's Germany, Italy, and Japan, and they're like the main characters, and they're the protagonists, and they're the good people.
All right.
Yeah, it's like fucked up, but like that's what I mean. It's like you wield your art as a bludgeon.
Yeah.
To like, hey, this idea that's 100%
give whatever
false.
Perspective you want. Yeah.
Exactly. It can manipulate the facts because you take artistic license.
I have an interesting solution, and I want to see what you guys think. Do you guys know what SOCAN is?
Soap cans?
I've definitely heard. I've heard
SOCAN.
term before, but I can't remember.
Okay, so I think the states have ASCAP. I think states have a couple of different ones that are do the same thing, but for the states. So SOCAN is the company. I don't think they're government. I think it's private, but SOCAN is a company that deals with music rights in Canada. So if someone decides to cover a song or play someone's song somewhere, you essentially submit a form to SOCAN going, hey, these are the songs that I performed, these are the songs I played, and then they just ask you to pay like a fee. And for music, it's pretty small, right? So when I do events and someone, to be fair, I haven't done this in a while, so I might be blanking on what exactly the process is. But when I do an event, so I did like an Unplugged show 4 years ago. When we had people cover songs at the show, we had to take note of like what songs they covered and had them submit a list. And at the end, we had to go, hey, by the way, like we performed these songs, and they go, okay, cool, like you owe this much money. And like I'm talking like well under $100. Like it's a very, very minimal fee considering that we charge for ticket price and everything. Because I don't think it's a percentage. I think it's just a flat. Like you covered it, like here you go.
Gotcha.
And then what SOCAN's job is, like, to be honest, I love SOCAN. SOCAN is the reason why any small artists and stuff like that get paid in the music industry. Because what you can do, like, so for instance, I haven't done it yet, but for instance, you guys, I could take the Geek Garden theme and I could go register myself as an artist and say, I've written music, here you go. And then they will essentially put that in their system, and anytime they hear that song come up anywhere else or it gets flagged, they go, hey, did you pay for that? And then they make sure that they get paid, and then make sure that we or I get sent a check. So with that said, I wonder if there could be a similar solution for publishers and video game streaming. And I'm not this is just an idea. I'm not exactly sure if it's necessary. I have another idea on top of this, but you could just say like, hey, if you want to stream our game, like, you know, like 0.5% or like this flat rate fee just like applies, but it only applies if you are making money off of it. Right? Like I feel like if you're streaming and you're just doing it for fun and you're not collecting money off of being an affiliate on Twitch, or you're not getting sponsorship, I don't think there's a reason for you to pay at all. I don't think so, because I think at the end of the day, like you said, it's an interactive medium, and so I think it's fair to say that people can just play this and people can watch them play. But I think as soon as you're making money, I feel like that is where kind of the trouble comes in, and I feel like that is a little bit fair to go, okay, maybe we should get a small percentage of this. But that said, it's also marketing. But I'm just thinking that might be a solution. My other suggestion was going to be that I feel like if anyone should be paying, I feel like it should be the hosting sites that do this, because Amazon doesn't have to do dick all for Pokimane to come online and have 25,000 plus followers all watching her play Among Us, and then Among Us sales go crazy up, right? But
And then
Amazon,
the advertisement that Amazon gets,
yeah, like Amazon, as when you're an affiliate, they get 50% of all the money we make. Right? And then I think if you're a partner, I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming that changes. Amazon takes slightly less, but I would not be surprised if they at least take a quarter, if not a third, of your subscriptions and donations when that happens. So the fact that Amazon and you have to remember that, like, okay, Pokimane is getting 3/4 or 2/3 of the money that's being spent to her, but then Amazon's getting a quarter off of everybody. Not just Pokimane. They're getting a quarter or a third or a half off of every fucking streamer. So they're getting off of fucking XQC, they're getting it off of Corpse, they're getting it off of Ninja, they're getting it off of Pokimane. Like, they're collecting all that money, but why the fuck aren't they paying anything, right? Why aren't they paying the fucking publishers and going, hey, someone's streaming your game on our site and we're making a fuck ton of money. Here you go. Like, that's what I don't get, right? Like, I get that Twitch is, like, obviously responsible for, like, creating the hosting site and creating the space that we can create these communities in. So I 100% they you know, credit where it's due. Like, that is obviously something that's huge, and they help maintain it all and administer it all. But I think when they start making, like, insane amounts of money, and then we can go into fucking Eat the Rich fucking all bullshit after this. But
okay.
But
that's just my default setting. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, no, fair
all
enough.
the time.
It just makes more sense, I think, for them to pay something, because they're making so much money off of this, right? They're probably making more money off of Pokimane than Pokimane is making.
I think you answered your own question there, Brandon, because they're making so much money off of it. That's why they don't want to pay.
But the thing is,
exactly.
The thing is the video game industry, let alone the video game streaming industry, is so young, and because it's all on the internet, it blew up so fast, right? Like, we were able to make things like SoCan and all those stuff for music before the internet even existed, right? Like, we were able to do that because radio existed, and radios were only localized, so, like, they had to come up with a system, and it could be controlled because it didn't blow up super fast, right? But because this has only existed in the internet, people are making too much money before you're able to put in regulations to even, like, say, like, who owes what and how much people get and yada yada yada. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think, like, a system like SoCan might work a little nicer, where, like, hey, if you are making money, like, like something like 0.5% or something goes to, like it's almost like a minus little tax or something that goes to the publisher? Or do you think hosting sites should do it? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, first off, Brandon, you're forgetting that the more money that you make, the less money you have to spend in regulations. That's just
true.
how it works.
That's
so
obviously,
the reason Amazon doesn't pay is because they have too much money to pay money for things.
It's true.
But aside from that, I think that you get into a sticky situation with that in terms of, like, how do you determine exactly how much money somebody is making from that game?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we're streaming and we've got our podcast and you're streaming Among Us, and I want to start streaming other games when I have, like, my webcam up, I want to stream, like, Avengers and Spider-Man and stuff. How do we determine which subs we're getting from you playing Among Us, or me playing Spider-Man, or us doing a podcast? how do we break down the actual like revenue split that comes from any given source, especially if partway through a stream you're like, all right guys, we're switching over to this now, like let's all move over to this game and hang out.
Yeah.
I think that you can't do it as a percentage of revenue made, which means you'd basically have to do it as just a simple flat, if you stream this game at all, you owe them a certain amount of money. Which then you
Yeah.
have to break it down by time, and that gets kind of sticky, right? You have to go like, if you stream it for 3 hours, it's this much. If you stream it for 6 hours, and that's just total. Like the longer you stream, every half hour chunk is like 0.005 of a cent, or like whatever the breakdown is. So the longer you stream that game, the more goes to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way you could do it practically if you were going to do it at all. And I don't know that that's a horrible system. I do think it would have to be, because the thing is, if it would have to be like the same amount basically across all games.
Yeah.
And the games industry itself already is so wide and expansive and all over the place, with indies and big like AAA development houses, plus like AAA studios that are self-owned but published by other publishers. I think having any kind of regulatory body that is collecting all of that would be difficult. And then the smaller indie games who arguably need the boost in money more. Obviously, the exposure is great for smaller indie games because people don't know about them, like Among Us, which was out for like 2 years before anybody cared. But they arguably need the money more, and they would be more likely to slip through the cracks, right? And then you also consider that publishers put their marketing budget towards paying top streamers to play the game because it's so valuable to them.
Yeah.
Like Apex Legends took off like it did because the marketing campaign for Apex Legends was literally just get a bunch of streamers to play Apex Legends.
Yeah.
They didn't run
Yeah.
commercials. They didn't really run ads. They just got people who had a bunch of viewers.
They shadow
their game.
dropped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just dropped the game and then had a bunch of people already playing it. And everybody was like, holy shit, this game's awesome. And I think that shows the value that streaming
marketing,
has
yeah.
in the marketing of,
Mhm.
of games, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not asking for money, they're spending money on streamers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Obviously that's just the top tier streamers who have the huge audiences, but I think that that's telling of like the relationship between streaming video games and the publishers and markets themselves.
Yeah. I think part of that problem is what I was saying earlier, where like the industry blew up so big before anyone could even like deal with this, that like, yeah, you have that huge disparity between huge AAA publishers versus like the small indie guys who are just trying to get things fucking going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do like, what was I thinking before? Like you could do like it's almost like, I wonder if you could do like a period right after a game's release where like there is no fee. Right. If anything, it's the opposite. Kind of like what you were saying, right? It's like during the first 2 months right after release, it's totally free to play the game without getting dinged or anything like that. You can stream it, blah, blah. And if anything, the publishers might even pay you as a content creator and influencer to then play that game and create marketing around it, right? But then after that 2 months, there's like an embargo that then gets released where like it then costs like, I don't know, like say you like pay $1 and you get the game for like a month. Like you're allowed to create content, release content with the game for like a month. And that's what I'm saying. Like it can be so small. Like it just can be a small amount because it will add up so quickly, right? Like if a top like fucking 200 people on fucking Twitch are fucking streaming the game for 3 months, right? That's $2 per person for 3 months, right? That could add up pretty quickly. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's strange. And oh man, yeah, it's tough. It's super, super weird because should the publishers be paying money for them to, like, I guess that makes sense. It's marketing. Like you want to pay money for them to advertise your game. But then that's so weird because then you put in that money and I guess they're paying the streamer directly, but then anything that the streamer then also collects from their stream is going to them and the hosting site, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Like it's weird.
Yeah, I'm not advocating that should be like the standard, or that like more publishers should do that, or that like that should be the default assumption, that like publishers should always be paying streamers.
Yeah,
I was more using it as a example of the relationship that publishers and streamers have now, which is pretty much the opposite of what this person was suggesting, right?
Yeah.
The idea of streamers having to pay is so outside of the perception that publishers have of the value of streamers, that they're willing to pay money out of their own pocket to get it into the hands of streamers, to get it out to more people. Like, that's the value of the exposure that streamers provide.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of drifting from the problem a little bit, because the problem is that the hosting sites are flagging, and it's the people who own the music and shit like that.
Well,
that
they're two
copywriting
separate things. Like the music thing was just the thing that kickstarted the conversation, right? Basically, people were upset that their videos were getting demonetized or taken down because music happened to be in them, and so this person was going, "Oh, you guys are upset about that. What you should be worried about is the fact that publishers, like, you should be appreciative, essentially, of the fact that publishers aren't charging you a licensing fee to play their games at all."
Yeah.
Like the music thing isn't really the thing being discussed. It's just like the thing that kickstarted the conversation.
I think saying that you should be appreciative, I don't know if that's exactly what he said.
No, that's me paraphrasing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
If it was you should be appreciative, I think that's a bad take. Because I think you should be wary as a content creator that, yeah, this is something legally that, say, Activision or EA could just turn around and go, nope, can't do that anymore, right? But at the same time, they should be appreciative because you're doing free advertising for them, right? Yeah. So it's strange. I hate that I can't figure out a solution.
No, that's the thing, right? It's really weird. It's really strange.
There's no clear good answer, really.
Because obviously you want to say, like, yeah, people who make the thing should be profiting off of other people using the thing. Like, that just, like, makes sense from the jump. When you hear that, you go like, yeah, of course. But when you think about all the stuff we've discussed and, like, the ins and outs of the relationship, like what streamers do, and the fact that video games are transformative, and they're not just, it's not like people are just like reselling the video game, right? Like, that's not what's happening. It's still a different product when you play it. And again, having the streamers and the personalities and the creators themselves playing it is part of what you're paying for when you're watching Twitch.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that, like, there are people who make a living and make bank on doing music covers, and they will pay the same fee to cover that song than the person who just posted it for their friends and family to see, and it has like 10 views. So it's weird because you'll have people who do, like, I'm trying to think of someone in particular, but there's like people who are on YouTube and they'll just pay a flat fee. They're like, yeah, I covered the Beatles, blah, 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 blah. But then their video gets, 3 million views, and they collect like crazy ad revenue off that video. And it's just strange. Like, yeah, I don't know if there can be a similar system where that's where the weird thing is that, like, when you cover a song, you play the 3-minute song. And that's done, right? But when you cover a video game, you could be playing The Witcher and spending hundreds and hundreds of hours and making way more money because you're creating way more content out of it. Or you might be just playing fucking Gang Beasts for a night, and it was like fucking 20 minutes, and you're done, you're never gonna touch it again. And that video's still profitable, but it's just nowhere near as much content. So yeah, I keep finding the problems, but not the solution.
Also, dude, Gang Beasts is great.
Gang Beasts is fantastic.
I forgot about Gang Beasts and how good that is.
I don't know why I thought of that.
I love that. I don't know if you guys remember, but when you boot up Overcooked, they actually have a disclaimer at the front that says any content used from their game is considered fair use for any purpose ever, whether it's on stream or YouTube. Yeah, if you boot the game up, that's the message. That message comes up. It's like, you can use the content of this game to do anything. We don't care. Which is cool. But like, I always found it strange because it was like, are you future proofing, or are you concerned that that's going to be an issue?
I think it's just a way to encourage people to stream, right? Like, make content about our game, which again, it goes to speak to that relationship between developers and publishers and streamers, because they're like, like we can't spend as much money on marketing as it would be worth to us if Twitch decided, or if Ninja decided to play this for a night.
Yeah.
Like, they literally don't have enough of a marketing budget to reach the number of people, no matter how much money they spent, that Ninja would reach in one night of playing Overcooked.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they're just trying to, encourage that free advertising. They're like, please play it put it on YouTube, talk about it, share it with your friends, stream it, like do whatever you want, because that'll just make us more money in the long run.
Exactly.
Because Overcooked is a game, right? You can watch it and you can be like, oh, that looks like fun, that's funny, or you can laugh at like somebody could watch us playing it and laugh at Sean losing his fucking shit when we don't get the burgers out on time.
Let us
That's
fun.
still
Let us fun.
that's still a fundamentally different experience to playing Overcooked with 4 friends, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't translate. Whereas if we just were like, we put up a film on our stream and just let it play, that is the same experience you would get if you rented that movie or you paid for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. What would be the benefit of a publisher pulling that cord? What would be the benefit of them going, "Hey, no, you can't make money off this video game anymore"?
I mean, the first thing that I think of is their ability to control the messaging,
Yeah.
right? Like people who are being critical of a game, like if you're playing something and you're just like shitting on it the whole time and it's like funny, like look at how bad this game is.
Yeah.
But people could still create. I guess they would just avoid doing it because they're not going to get money off of it. Because I think that's the other thing too, is that like if they make it like that videos get flagged, just like videos with music or something get flagged, there's still nothing stopping that person from doing any commentary, because that is definitely under fair use, like being able to just do like a review or commentary on the game, and there's nothing stopping them from getting any kind of sponsorship or anything for that video. So would pulling the cord necessarily stop from like bad reviews and stuff coming out of that game?
I mean, I think it's a case by case scenario, right? Based on if that person has sponsorship or whatever. But I think a lot of people, if their primary revenue stream is Twitch, if somebody said, like, if they've been streaming this game and they just get it from like Twitch subs and stuff, and somebody's been streaming this game and they've been like ripping it apart and laughing at how bad it is, but they're having a good time playing it. If insert publisher here comes along and says like, you've got to pay us or you can't do it, or we're revoking your license or whatever, I could really see a lot of people just choosing to drop it altogether and just going to another game that they can make the full same amount of money on.
That's exactly what I would do.
Right? Like, it's not a matter of like taking a moral stand or like, I can do it, so I will. It's that like, well, now it's inconvenient. Before it was like, I can make just as much money on that as something else, but now it's inconvenient.
Right. Okay. So I guess if any one particular publisher decided to pull the cord, you could go to someone else. But I think in my scenario, I'm thinking if that was just a thing, just like music, like all public, like it's like if you have a video game in your video, YouTube will then flag it and demonetize it immediately. Doesn't matter. Like it's just like video games in general. Just like how they'll flag music in general, unless you get like copyright free music, right? So what if the option wasn't to go to a game that would let you monetize?
Oh yeah, in that case, if it was just kind of like a blanket thing that happened in the industry, I think people would be leaning more on Patreon, right? And I don't know how much leeway they'd have. Like if YouTube flags something, they also... do they just stop you from getting revenue, or do they delist it and stop it from being watched?
Depends on what it is. If it's content they don't like because it's like violent or like overly political or something like that, they will delist it. But if it's just copyright content, they'll just demonetize it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Then in that case, if you could still make it, I think people would just start relying more on Patreon and stuff and be more crowdfunded, like directly, as opposed to through the platform that they use to host their videos.
Right. But then what would be the benefit of the publisher to decide to do that?
That's the thing. I don't think there would be one.
Yeah. So I think that's something to think about, right? Like, okay, sure, the publishers could pull the cord and go, hey, like, and yeah, I think the reality is if someone did, it probably would just be like one big publisher first, and then it might be a domino effect and like everyone else starts doing it, and I'd argue it would be all the big companies first, right? Like Activision would do it, then EA, then Rockstar, or like whatever, right?
Oh, come on, EA would be the first one to do this.
You'd be the first person.
I would. Activision might too, though. But yeah,
Activision's actually up there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like the Blizzard Activision company is just like slowly dying.
Well, the thing is that I don't want to track it all, but or get off track at all. But like the thing is that like people have been yelling at EA much more than Activision, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So EA has been kind of having to react. Like, if they don't react, they're gonna fucking crumble. But some people are just like letting it slide at Activision a little bit more, and I think I'm just as guilty. And it's so I think they're kind of like now taken over as the shitty video game company.
EA has been
but-
making some good moves in the last couple of years, whereas like
Yeah.
Activision, we're still waiting to see what kind of a mess the next Diablo game is, and like
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
whatever the
exactly.
fuck thing they were doing with Overwatch 2. Like
A
how that
mobile
turned out.
exclusive
Mobile
game.
experience.
But like
Do you
so
guys not
for
have phones?
like so for instance, like in the music industry, there's a lot of really big labels. There's EMI, there's Universal, like there's a bunch of different labels, and for the most part they all kind of do the same thing as far as just like taking down videos because they're using their music. That happens all over the place, right? They both just are guilty for doing that. So I'd argue if Activision's gonna start doing it, EA is going to start doing it, Ubisoft's going to start, like, they're just going to all start doing it. So my thought is like, why would they want to, though? Because is that revenue they think they can control and make somewhere else? I don't think so. Right? Like, I don't think they can
so.
then, right? Like, unless they decide to then go the other route and start paying people to market their game instead. Because that's the thing, right now it's free marketing for them. Right, like, yeah, sure, they're making money off it, but like they're playing the game for them and creating hype around it, and they don't have to fucking do anything other than maybe go, hey, like, other than maybe just like send them an email and be like, hey, you should play our game, and like we'll, I don't know, host it on our fucking website or something like that, right? But it can be as minimal as that, right? So I think it's important to go. This is a power they have technically right now that they could at any point just go, hey, like, we don't want you playing our content, but why would they? I don't think there's a reason for them to, other than just being greedy, other than just going, I don't want you making money off this. I don't think there's a reason for them to do it.
Honestly, I don't know enough of the legality to know if they even can. Like, obviously you can't like sell the game, because that's the thing, right? If you're streaming a movie, that's just the movie. But like, again, we've talked about like how games are interactive and stuff. Like, you can't, it's a fundamentally different experience. It could be, I genuinely don't know either way, but I don't know if they actually could legally stop people from streaming games. I don't, like, we're using that as an assumption, but I don't actually know if that is possible, because the game industry is so young, and video games are, again, they're consumed in a fundamentally different way from other media.
I think because it hasn't been defined yet, I think a lot of people are just assuming the worst case of it, where it's like this content does not count as fair use, because they're not necessarily like, because it's very clear that when you do like a commentary review, that is very obviously fair use because you were putting your words and just using this content as context, right? But when you're someone, and I don't agree with this, but I'd say that they think that like when you're someone who's just playing the game and having people watch you, I don't know if that's necessarily defined as fair use yet. So I think that's the idea there. I think that's the argument. And so I think that's why people are like, yeah, they could just pull the rug on you underneath. But if they did try to pull the rug at any point, which I don't know if they ever would, but if they did, I think that's when it would go, okay, well, no, fuck you. I think this is fair use. Like, that's bullshit. Like, people are coming to me because they like my content, they like my layout, they like my aesthetic, they like, right? Like, it's not like, yes, you're just the guest of the week, right? Like, the content is not because of you. You are just part of that long list, right? Like you're just like a guest on a late night show, right? Like, you're just one person that comes by, but like, yeah, exactly. So
People are there for the Colbert, man.
Yeah, exactly, right? People there to watch
there for
Letterman, to
the
watch
Colbert.
Fallon, to watch Kimmel, whatever, right? So yeah, I it's just one of those things where I feel like, yeah, it might happen because they might decide to just get greedy at some point and go, no, you can't make money off us, how dare you? But I don't think they will. And sorry, one other thing I just remembered as I was going to say, Kelly, you were saying how you were talking about how like if like YouTube or Twitch is like their main source of income. My general consensus, and from what, especially since I've been just like doing so much fucking research from doing more content creation, is especially since the YouTube adpocalypse, it is very rare for most content creators on both YouTube and Twitch that is their sole income. I'd argue that the only people that are like that are like Pokimane, like people who go on and there's 25,000 people watching them when they go on. But she and many others, they're the rare case. Like, most popular streamers have like maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people watching them when they go on, right? Like, that's kind of like the consensus. So most of them that's like not even a quarter of their income. Like they make more income from their like merch sales or sponsorship or other things. So I don't think that, like, especially if there's someone who's obviously very true to their art and passionate, like, so say let's take Angry Joe, for instance, on YouTube, right? He's very passionate about fucking putting out his reviews and saying whatever he needs to fucking say about a game, right? I don't think if a publisher went, you cannot make money, like, we're not going to let you monetize this YouTube video because it has our game in it, I don't think that's going to stop him. Because he's making making ad revenue off of maybe content that doesn't include video games, but also he's already making enough on merch, he's already making enough on sponsorship and all that other stuff.
He's got that G Fuel sponsorship. He's got
exactly
that new flavor.
Yeah, like I think that the monetization of a lot of this content and the reason for this is because of the fucking adpocalypse that happened on YouTube, where like YouTube just went crazy and started demonetizing everything. That almost every content creator is like, I'm never relying on that ever again. Never, ever. I have to outsource my income because it's just not realistic, right? Yeah. So I think because of that, not that you can't on Twitch, but I think because of that, no one on Twitch really does rely on just Twitch alone for income. So yeah, I think it's weird. I don't think if they were to pull the cord that it would stop people from being able to make the content. They would just make money elsewhere and still go, hey, fuck you, this game sucks.
I was just using it as obviously like a rhetorical device.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%.
What actually applies to you, but yeah,
got to cover all our bases.
The only reason that I could see some like a publisher being like, hey, you got to pay is like, it's like, or even just take it away from them. It'd be like if they have like some conflicting issues, like I guess if they don't want to be seen like with this guy's message trying to show across or something like that. I don't know. That's the only reason I could maybe think of like that.
If you don't want to be associated with somebody in like a professional way.
Yeah, you don't want to be associated with a streamer streaming your game and they are problematic or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
Yeah, and I think that'll always be a problem, right? Like if there's a problematic content creator and they're like, I love this game, you're like, I don't know if I want him loving this game.
Yeah.
He's a Nazi. Yeah, shit. Okay. But that's a bigger issue in my
that's
opinion.
A whole other fucking
That's
problem.
a whole bigger issue than that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should have the right to fucking play the games. I think that's fair.
I think that they are like I think that even just a let's play is transformative enough of video games, and like it doesn't actually represent the experience you have having it. I know lots of people that use them from both the point of view of like marketing of like, oh, I didn't know this game existed, but also people who would just like pop onto a Twitch stream for a little while, even sometimes a random one, just to see like, what does this look like? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like not the marketing, like super cut trailers that make everything look good, but like, what does it just look when I'm holding this analog stick forward? Does this game look like something I can play? And you jump in for like 10 minutes and you go, okay, yeah, I thought I was going to get it. I'm going to get it. Cool. And then you go and buy it because there were people playing the game that could do that.
Yeah. I definitely, since joining the Twitch community, have definitely looked at games that like using Twitch for sure. Like I'm like, because you can watch the fucking gameplay reveals and all that shit as much as you want, but until you see someone like playing it, or until you're playing it, it's hard to tell like how the game is going to feel or whatever. But it's cool because you can go to a Twitch channel and go and type in the chat and go, hey, how does the menu system work? And they'll go, oh, good question. So if you go to the menu, and then they can just fucking tell you, and it's so cool. And then you're like, okay, that sounds great. I'm going to go buy it now. Right? But to be fair, the opposite could happen too, where they're like, oh, that's fucking hot shit. Goddamn. No, I'm not buying that game. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, it cuts both ways.
Yeah. It's just another step in the review process, right? Because like before streaming, you could go online and just read a whole bunch of reviews
on a forum
and slowly piece that like information together yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you could still basically do the same thing. It's just that now it's all easier and streamlined and everything.
Yeah. I think the other cool thing is that, and I think we kind of touched on it earlier, is that there is a huge community of people who don't play video games but love watching them. Like, watching them. Huge
capacity for backseat gamers. And the thing is, if you start monetizing Twitch and start saying like you need a license to pay this game and you don't for that game, you're gonna get a lot of people who are like, well, why don't I charge people to like actually watch the stream too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, again, it's one of those things where you're then cutting off like a huge chunk of marketing if you're a publisher, right? Like we touched on it earlier. It's like if you like the video game, you then might go and buy the books or the merch or like whatever, right? But like I was absolutely shocked at the amount of people who are in our community that just like don't really play video games that regularly. Like I look like a fucking crazy person how much I play video games and engage with them compared to the people who are on Twitch just watching people play video games. And I'd argue that the video games are like not even half the content that they're there for. And I think, again, we touched on that earlier too. It's like they go because the person they're watching is fucking chill as fuck to fucking watch and hang out with. The game is just the activity you're watching them doing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is like so many streamers don't just stream video games. Like there are so many video game streamers who are also like ASMR streamers, or they're just like podcast streamers, like, hey, us. And ASMR. There's a lot of ASMR streamers.
show you what it sounds like when I open my water bottle. Oh yeah.
But yeah, people who do podcasts, or people do like who do like art, or like I know people who like do their workouts on stream. Like they'll just like fucking put their camera and they're like
I hate this.
Okay, the podcast is over. It's just Sean ASMR now.
It's just Sean's gross hand goop ASMR. The other thing that I was going to mention is that it also helps further like community engagement and critical discussions too, because there are people who do play a lot of video games and stuff, but they might go to other streamers who they really like their takes on video games and like their critical analysis, which is something I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
And just like watch this other person talk about the game as they play it, right? And like see how they interact with the mechanics or how they think like the game is designed. So it caters, like streaming literally can cater to the most like hardcore dedicated almost developers, people who are like so invested in game design, the level that I would argue that I'm like close to, like I'm actually starting to think about wanting to make games at some point, up through to people who don't even really play them but think they're fun to watch. Like that entire spectrum of people who interact with the community can fit in and watch streams.
Like I think an example for me that's like kind of along the same lines is like I'm a huge Critical Role fan. I fucking love Critical Role. I love everyone who's on that cast. I love the art that's coming from it. I love what they're doing with the company, yada yada yada. I cannot tell you the last time I watched Critical Role. I cannot tell you. But anytime I hear about merch or some cool event that's happening, whatever, I engage because I fucking love it. But I just don't have the time or commitment to watch 4 hours of role playing every Thursday night because I work and got a life and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's the closest I can relate to. I know, how fucking
You have a life?
How dare you call yourself a Critical Role fan?
You're not a critter. You're a piece of shit.
Gatekeep me, you motherfuckers. Gatekeep me.
Liar. You're a fucking liar.
Every time I stream on Thursday night, I'm like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have streamed. Everyone's watching Critical Role. Like, I think
Literally
Critical Role
everyone.
might be still the most watched thing on Twitch because I think they have something like they hit like 90,000 people watching on a given night, which is just nuts. To be fair, they're probably one of the few. Yeah, that's nothing. I think they're one of the few Twitch channels that have like a thing they only do like once a week, right? Most streamers do like several days a week. But like they're easily the biggest Twitch streamer. But yeah, like Critical Role, I don't watch their show, but I engage with their community and their art. Like I'm still on their subreddit, and like I haven't yet, but I've been wanting to buy some merch and stuff, and I love them, but I don't watch it. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Right? So like it's okay for you not to buy the video game, but still like engage the community, and that's a huge like area of marketing and community you can create with that. So
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Official Geek Garden stance is that just stream your games, man.
just stream your games.
Do it.
I think publishers should then take the opportunity to just reach out. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Publisher, in my opinion, publishers should then be, and I think a lot of them are. Like I'd argue, like CD Projekt Red is always very grateful and thankful of people who want to like buy and play their game. And like I know.
Your game got delayed again.
Also, I know Cyberpunk got delayed again to December 10th.
December 10th. Yeah.
The game's never coming out, Brandon.
Which is fine. You know what? Actually, a hot take. Someone on Twitter was like, I work in game development. I don't work for CD Projekt Red, but I do work in game development. I bet you 100% the reason this is delayed is because of Google Stadia. and I was like,
Interesting.
oh
Okay.
shit, because is it Stadia out yet? It's not, right?
Stadia's out.
Stadia's out. Okay, but I think I'm assuming this game developer has probably also had problems with like getting their game at a stable point to go on Stadia. So I bet
they did specifically say that it was for like in their press release that it had to do with like optimizing for like the 9 different platforms that the game has to be available for.
Yeah.
So and they do mention Stadia.
Stadia is one of those 9, so yeah. So I thought that was interesting, but
also totally other topic. I don't know if you guys heard this, but Amazon actually announced that they're going to have a cloud stream gaming thing as well, called Luma. One of those.
I hope it releases as bad as that battle royale they tried to release.
That went back, that unreleased.
That unreleased. They're like, here it is, and everyone's like,
it wasn't a battle royale.
It's not done yet.
it's Luna.
It's like
it's
a MOBA,
Luna.
right? It's
yeah,
like,
Luna. Yeah, it's more like a MOBA, but yeah, but it actually works like what we thought Stadia was going to be. It's like the Netflix of games. It's like you pay like a subscription fee, and then you have access to whatever library they have.
Oh, so like Game Pass.
So like Game Pass.
It's like a competitor to Game Pass more so than a competitor to Stadia. Yeah.
I would love to talk about that more in another podcast. Is the subscription style gaming?
We will, Brandon.
Because people because people love Game Pass, but Stadia is hot trash.
Stadia.
So I think it'd be really cool to look at the pros and cons of those and go, is this something we want?
More like, what are ya?
But I think that will be a podcast for another time.
Another day.
Wrap it up here, folks. If you joined us while we're doing the live stream, thank you so much. Thank you again. Shout out to Lauren for those cartoon versions of us because they're so good. They're so good.
They're very good.
If you are part of the community already and you don't know, somehow we're going to be doing a charity stream. We partnered up with the Able Gamers Foundation for Halloween. We have a link on our Instagram page to our donation portal, as well as all proceeds that we make the day of our stream will be going to Able Gamers. We're hoping to hit $500. We're not a huge community yet, so we're trying to hit a goal that we think is somewhat reasonable. So share it. We've got stuff on Instagram. Share with people. Even if they can just drop a couple bucks, that would be greatly appreciated.
If you're in the chat right now, Sean, you just did it. Yeah, !mark donate will give you the donation link. We've already raised $95.
Oh shit!
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Look at that.
so we're a fifth of the way there.
1/5 to our goal.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, also, yes, Lauren, good point. We are also having a raffle, and I actually need to add that to our layout for the day. We are doing a raffle that everyone who donates $5. This is actually a perfect episode. This is great. So we revealed Lauren's head things. If you donate for every $5 you donate, you get put into a raffle to get your own caricature done by Lauren. Have like a profile pic done. So so you saw those ones that we of ourselves earlier in the podcast. If you're on audio, sorry, you have to go check out our YouTube video to see them. But if you donate $5 for every $5 you donate, you will have an entry into the raffle, and Lauren will draw you. So that is pretty rad.
And we're all going to be present throughout that stream at various times. But Brandon, as usual, is going to be kind of managing that and keeping tabs on everything. So if you're in the Discord, come on over, say hi, ask Brandon any questions you have about the stream. And I guess we'll see you guys on Halloween.
Apparently the person who donates the most gets a half body too, so they get like a bust drawing. Ooh. Essentially, which is fun.
Okay.
We're really stoked for Halloween. We're gonna be doing, I think we're starting at 7 p.m. PST. We're going to be doing some Jackbox games with ourselves and hopefully some people in the community and stuff like that. And then we'll also be playing some Dead by Daylight later to get some spooky games going on, get our spook going. We figured out, we actually did this last night, Kelly and Jack. There's a way for me to capture Sean's cam on my stream, so Sean can be downstairs playing and they can see both me and Sean. So we were playing Among Us last night and they could see Sean and I both like fucking freaking out playing Among Us. It was very, very cool.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty
fun.
I think I also might do the OCB whatever it is, and then just have a secondary stream open for whomever.
You mean
wants to
OBS?
see. That's what I meant.
Okay.
I was
Okay,
like, OCB? What the fuck?
OCB?
Yeah, you're gonna have your own stream going on Shauna Geek Garden. Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
definitely hope that as we grow and as we get better at this and get more gear, that anytime that we stream as a group, that we can also have our separate streams going, and so you can check out all different cameras and stuff.
You can
But
see every view.
every
part of it.
view.
Body.
But yeah, come hang out, tell your
Everything.
friends. I'm super stoked that we've already raised $95. Like that's super chill.
That's super cool. Thank you, everyone.
It's very, very cool. I'm very excited. I'm gonna tell all my friends and family, my coworkers. I'm gonna make them all come up and hang out. And even if they have no idea what the fuck Twitch, the amount of people I've had to explain what Twitch is, they're like, "What do you mean you're twitching? I don't know what is that.
Twitch?
What are you
What is-
twitching about? I don't understand."
Twitch? Are
Yeah.
you okay? Do you need to see a neurologist?
But yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube. We got a Facebook page, but whatever. Give us a follow on Twitch. We're Geek Garden. Yeah.
And we'll see you on
We'll see you
Halloween.
guys later. Bye, guys. Bye bye.
Bye 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 bye.